Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle something super common, burnout, and that fear that can follow you around afterwards. But we're going to look at it through a really unique philosophical lens.
All right, so let's just dive right in. The whole thing really starts with this one single powerful question that was put to a speaker. So this came from someone in their mid-60s who had to stop working because they were just physically exhausted. And I think a lot of us can relate to this, right? Your body starts to recover, but your mind, your confidence, that stuff just feels stuck. It's lagging way behind.
So the first bit of advice you hear, it sounds super simple on the surface. But trust me, it's actually the gateway to a much, much bigger idea.
Now, this might sound obvious, but the point here isn't just, oh, you should rest. It's all about how you use that rest. The idea is that this isn't supposed to be some passive recovery. No, it's actually a time for something much more active. It's actually framed as a time for study, a time to really look inward. And the whole point is to answer this one really critical question. What did I do wrong to get this exhausted? And right away, you can see how that shifts everything. It's not about blaming your job or other people. It's about looking inside yourself. Okay, and this is where things get really wild. The advice takes this huge, fascinating turn. We're about to pull the camera way, way back from this one person's problem, all the way out to a cosmic origin story. Seriously, one that connects your burnout to the actual creation of the universe. So the core idea is that, originally, we weren't physical beings at all. Our true state, according to this philosophy, is that we're spirits. We're these primordial elemental energies, just part of the fabric of the universe. So you gotta ask, how did we get from that state of pure energy to, well, this? The theory goes that as we, as these spirits, went about our business in the universe, our energy started to get impure, kind of murky. And this impurity, it's not a small thing. It's actually the trigger for a fundamental law of the whole universe. Okay, so our energy gets impure. Then what? Well, according to this line of thinking, that's when this automatic, universal rule just kicks in. It's a mechanism that governs the whole show. They call it the 3-7 law, and it's presented as this ironclad rule of the cosmos. The best way to think about it is like a cosmic tipping point. When any system, and here we're talking about our collective spiritual energy, hits a 30% level of impurity, bam! A huge automatic change gets set in motion. So here's how the whole chain reaction plays out. It all starts when we hit that 30% impurity mark. That's step one, that's the trigger. Then, step two, the 37 law kicks in and forces a separation. The 30% impure energy literally splits away from the 70% pure energy. Next, in step four, all of that heavy, murky, impure energy gets pulled together into one tiny point until, well, you know what happens next. Step five, a massive cataclysmic explosion. And this is the big reframe. What science calls the Big Bang, this philosophy calls the creation of heaven and earth. You can see it in the comparison here. It's not seen as some random physical event. No, it's a spiritual event, a direct result of our collective impurity. So this explosion, this separation, it created two totally different realms. That heavy, 30% impure energy, that came together to form the material world, our world, Earth. And the other, 70%, the pure energy, that remained as the spiritual world, or heaven. And what that means is that the world we're living in right now was created specifically because of us and for us. Okay, so that's the huge cosmic backstory. But what on earth does that have to do with feeling burned out and scared? Let's bring this whole thing right back down to earth and connect the dots. The argument is actually pretty profound when you think about it. The idea is, since this world was literally made from our own impurity, our whole purpose here is to study it, to learn how to live in it the correct way. So when we struggle, when we burn out, it's basically a symptom, a sign that we just don't quite understand the environment we created for ourselves. And here's the kicker. This isn't some solo mission you're on. According to this view, how you feel, it's not just about you. It has a real, tangible, energetic effect on the world and everyone around you. Your hardship doesn't just stay with you. It actually ripples out.
So just how big are those ripples? Well, the speaker actually puts a number on it, a very specific and kind of shocking ratio.
Yeah, this is a really powerful idea, and honestly, it's a heavy one.
It takes your personal struggle, your private battle, and turns it into something with global energetic consequences. The idea that you, just one person, struggling, makes 100 other people heavy. Wow. That completely changes the game, right? Suddenly taking care of yourself becomes this huge collective responsibility.
So, where does that leave us? What's the big takeaway? Look, this isn't some simple 5-step plan to beat burnout. That's not what this is about. What it offers instead is a really profound and honestly challenging new way to think about what our struggles even mean.
And it all kind of boils down to this one final provocative question. What if your personal struggles were actually cosmically significant? Because in this view, when you overcome your burnout, when you face your fears, you're not just doing it for yourself. It's framed as fulfilling a much larger cosmic purpose. You're actually helping to purify the very energy that created our world to begin with.